Now, McLaughlin's responded with a faster mid-sector, so he was only 4/100 slower than Shane in the first sector. So Van Gisbergen and McLaughlin are going to be very close on the data that we're seeing on this run at the moment. Out of the final corner now for McLaughlin. He's shooting for another Armour All pole. He's been able to bank a lot of those through his career. Target time is a 6.5. It's now a 6.2 McLaughlin. Coulthard does a 6.3. Van Gisbergen does a 6.3. 5/100ths of a second between McLaughlin and Van Gisbergen.
Cam Waters up to third with a 6.3. Nice job. Mostert, that's an improvement for him too, up 4 spots to 6th.
So it was an Armour All pole yesterday for Jamie Whincup. He's in 8th at the moment as Mostert completes his lap. And he was not happy with that car yesterday in the race. He said, quote, "She's going to drop on the track angry this morning," unquote.
What does that mean?
Well, I don't know what it means, but I know that it translates into 12th in this particular session.
It'll be angry after this then. It's that far back. He's only 5/100ths away, four actually away from Van Gisbergen. Nice job.
McLaughlin and Van Gisbergen will share the front row of the grid for their 17th race of the championship season, and then Pye and Waters will share row 2. Frosty and Fabian in their Mustangs 5 and 6, and then Percat, Whincup, Heimgartner and James Courtney 0.3 of a second. James was looking for a little bit more turn in the car on fresh tyres yesterday. Lee Holdsworth, Chaz Mostert, we just spoke about, Anton De Pasquale, Rick Kelly, Jack LeBrock, who yesterday ended up being sidelined, so he'll have a fair bank of tyres to play with today. So far, provisional pole is being held by Nick Percat. Scott Pye did an awesome job in that previous session. Best qualifying for him since the Grand Prix in Melbourne back in 2018, where he won that race in failing light and weird conditions, if you recall. A little bit of a brake lock for the Shell V-Power car in the foreground there on the run into the hairpin. That would have been costly. I'm not sure which one that was.
This is smart because SVG is getting a tow from Fabian. So Fabian had a wheel lock, as you said. Now, Van Gisbergen's done the fastest first sector. McLaughlin's done the fastest second sector. Van Gisbergen looks like he might be able to knock him off, and this will help. The tow will help here. Headwind today. Parked it in behind 3 or 4 car lengths. There'll be a little slipstream effect here. Can he get to the top? Yes, he does with a 6.28. Well done, Shane Van Gisbergen.
3/100ths of a second this time. It was a whopping 5/100ths in the previous session. They've reversed positions, Van Gisbergen and McLaughlin. Mostert, Waters, Whincup, Pye, De Pasquale and Heimgartner.
David Reynolds just comes up 5 spots to 12. So Nick Percat's policy, Crompo, for Brad Jones Racing, that was clever because that served him well. He probably wasn't going to improve. He was going to possibly get caught up in traffic land. And watch this. This will be the elation. Yes, look at that. So from a day that he'd rather forget yesterday, he was struggling with the engine power, had to change 4 tyres late in the race, didn't do a bad job. But there's Grant McPherson, and all the guys elated with the response from car 97, and that is a great pole position, a great effort by Shane Van Gisbergen.
Lucky we don't have another 3 or 4 Darwins in a row, because in the end they'd all be kind of doing the same time.
Well, and
keep
you
getting
said
better.
Well, you said about half a second before. That was 18 cars in the previous one. Half a second now is 22 cars.
Fantastic. So Shane Van Gisbergen gets the job done. An Armour All pole for him. Race 18, Core Staff Darwin Supersprint. 3/100ths of a second is the defining margin. Mark Winterbottom would be proud of that, and his teammate was 3rd in the previous as well. And what has to happen now is you've got to convert all that energy, all that intelligence, all that thinking into a smart race car. That'll be a challenge for some. Some of the cars have been better as quali cars than they have been race cars. But look at the point that Mark made. Look how far you go down the order before it gets north of half a second. Zane Goddard in 22nd position, only 0.5 away, then Macaulay Jones and Jack Smith, 23 and 4.